Okay, yeah, anyway, I just hope that everybody's adjusting to quarantine and finding a routine. I know I myself have been struggling with that a little bit and accidentally stayed in the same pair of pajamas for 43 hours last week. So I have yet to repeat that. But I hope that you guys have found a routine, and that everybody, first and foremost, in your family is healthy. Um, and well, yeah, my sister started running a fever yesterday, which got us all a little scared. And two of her friends who she was on spring break with both lost their sense of smell and taste because I guess like coronavirus can live like in your nose and in your mouth. So anyway, I hope that's not the case for you or anyone you love. But yeah, okay, so the reflection. So I was I will be looking down a little bit because I have like it all right now. But I was praying about what to talk to you guys about because I feel like um it's like the coronavirus is one of those things where it's like we're so tired of it and it's all you hear about. It's like exactly what you don't want to talk about, but all you can talk about. So like every homily, everything you see in the news, it's just like all like ah. But as I was praying about it, like I really just like surrendered this reflection to the Holy Spirit, and lo and behold, like it kind of really pertains to coronavirus. So I'm sorry, but I'm also like not that sorry because I I feel prompted to talk about this, so I want to apologize for it. But yeah, so I guess the overarching thing that really came to me while I was thinking about this reflection and just like the time that we're living in is that this is the time when saints are made. And I was reflecting on like it's always in times of crisis that people really come forward and all these like heroic acts happen and people like really sacrifice, and you kind of like see the best of humanity in these times that are not the best. And so like all those medical care professionals who are out on the front lines and like people sacrificing in really big ways to love others. And then I thought about some saints who really like came to the fore during times of crisis like this and who were made because of the way that the world was at the time. And so the first thing that I thought about was Aloysius Gonzaga, because in 1591 there was this humongous plague in Rome, and he was a Jesuit, and the Jesuits opened their own hospital for the sick and dying because everybody was sick and dying, and everyone wanted to preserve themselves, kind of like now. And so you had a shortage of people willing to care for the sick and dying and expose themselves to the plague. And so Aloysius spent so much time like nursing the patients and caring for the sick that he came down with the disease that everybody was dying of, and then he died at the age of 23. But like in that came his sainthood, and there are people doing that today. Like I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but I just read yesterday about this 72-year-old priest in Italy named Father what's his name, Giuseppe Berardelli, and he became ill with coronavirus, and he was 72, so like he's very much in that at-risk population, and his parishioners like all pitched in to buy him a ventilator, and he ended up giving it to a younger patient, total stranger, someone he didn't know, so that they could survive. And he just ended up dying and passing away, which also reminds me of like St. Maximilian Kolbe, like stepping forward and sacrificing for someone that you don't know. And so this like really is the time for grand acts, but the reality is that most of us like are fulfilling our duties by staying shut inside of our houses. But the thing is that that doesn't change the fact that this is still the time when saints are made and when we're presented with the opportunity to become saints. And so I was thinking about how like some of the greatest saints have also come out of these sort of like homebound situations. Like Saint Ignatius of Loyola had his leg like shattered by a cannonball, and he was stuck in bed recovering. And it was during that time where he was like bedridden that he read about the life of Christ, and then had this massive conversion of heart that led him like in that year to write the spiritual exercises, which so many people now use to like help foster their own faith. But none of that would have happened if he hadn't initially been stuck in bed. And then there's Saint Therese, who is like a doctor of the church and one of the like most beloved saints. And she had a short life, but spent like 9 years of it within the walls of the same cloistered convent, and the end of her life like sick and dying of tuberculosis in bed. And it was from like those 9 years of isolation in that same convent that she learned to love by like showing kindness toward that like crotchety old nun who always gave her a hard time. And it's like where she wrote the story of a soul, well, the letters that were later compiled into Story of a Soul, and like where we get the little way. And again, like if she had been out and about and like had been the missionary that she wanted to be, we wouldn't have her sainthood. It's like it was in that like experience of isolation where her sainthood came to the fore. And so I think that we have this opportunity right now. And like this part of our lives that we're spending at home and spending kind of like stuck away from where like socially where we would like to be is not merely our lives being put on pause, but instead I think we're being presented with a very unique opportunity to become saints. And when this quarantine lifts and like we're able to go back out into society, whenever that is, I think it would be a shame and a waste of these months if we don't leave our homes better disciples than like we were when we began this quarantine. So I want to talk a little bit about spring break. Some of you guys in this Zoom call went to Christ in the City with me on a mission or a service trip to Denver through Catholic Who's, and we went to this this organization that does really beautiful ministry with the homeless population in Denver. And while we were there, because there were like college groups visiting, they gave some talks like while we did service with them as like sort of like formation, because it was like almost like a mini retreat in some aspects. But one of the talks that like I think is particularly relevant now was a talk entitled "Where is Your Calcutta?" And Mother Teresa of Calcutta is one of the patron saints of Christ in the City. And so the idea of the talk was, where is that place where you are meant to see Christ and meet Christ and also like be Christ and be his hands and feet? Because obviously like we're not all meant to go to actual Calcutta or to be like Christ in the City missionaries, but like we all individually are called to a place where like our own Calcutta is. And so I kind of find it ironic, like we were all like reflecting on where our Calcutta is, but now I think like we don't even have an option to think, like we've been thrust right into our individual Calcuttas, and like that is our homes right now. And I think like I was thinking about serving in our homes, and like at UVA we kind of have an element of choice to who we get to love and minister to and serve. Like we choose, because we're on like a massive campus, and we choose who to seek out and who to like pour into and who to love. But when you're stuck in quarantine, like it's just you and your family, there's nowhere to go, and you don't have a choice of who to love. And you can't just like go somewhere else and choose to love other people like when you get sick of loving your family members. And for a lot of us, myself included, we've gotten used to the college lifestyle of like being in college, but then like having your family in doses. And I know for my own family, this is the first time since 2015, that we've all been under the same roof together. And it's taken like a lot of adjusting. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it's only been a week, and I've like almost yelled or like have yelled at every single one of my family members. And you just remember that like exactly the little things that they do like to get on your nerves. Like my family like went to mass together on Sunday, as much as you can like go to mass during this time. We live streamed Father Mike Schmidt's mass in our living room, and we sat down, and my dad saw that it was like you know how you can see how long like a movie's gonna be or like a TV show's gonna be before you start it, and my dad saw like 54 minutes, and he was like, what? Like, I thought this was express mass, like there's no communion. And I was like, Dad. And then he like falls asleep during the homily, and my sister's like playing with the dog, and I'm just like, ah. And like that's only the beginning of it. Like if my family's even like getting to me in the middle of mass, like you guys have an idea of like how rough this 1 week has been, of readjusting to like living with these people who you've known all your life. And I have like a very small family by Catholic standards, so I don't know what rendition of like button pushing you guys have been going through, but I'm sure that you relate to some extent. But then I think about Meg Pillay's talk. I wish she was here, but I don't think she is. Her TSEP talk, I don't know when, like last semester, this semester, she said something about loving family and how like your family are the people that you love most, but they're the hardest to love because you have entirely given each other your hearts. But when you do that, you're also saying, okay, here is exactly how you can hurt me and exactly how you can like poke me and bother me, because like I'm being entirely vulnerable with you. And so that's like exactly what we're experiencing in our homes right now. And this is when it's hardest to love. But these are the people that God is calling us to love right now in this time. So back to Christ in the City, there was this, in like the main kitchen living room area where we were, there is this big crucifix on the wall, and then next to it were the words love until it hurts. And you're reminded when you're looking at Jesus on the crucifix that he did not only love until it hurt, but like he loved through the hurt and like loved till it like hurt so bad that he died. And realized that like we were supposed to be loving until we hurt right now. And it's the kind of love that we're being asked to show in our homes. And it's different than like the love that you get to show in your Bible studies. Like it's not the kind of love that comes easily. Like you have to dig to find the patience to not release the snide comment and to dig to show kindness. Like when your parents are getting on your nerves or your siblings are making it super hard for you to do like online school because school is still like a thing. But the more it hurts to love, the more you're actually changing and becoming a saint. And this, like right here, the opportunity that we have right now is the kind of love that will transform us if we choose it. There's this quote, it's often attributed to Mother Teresa. Like I did some research on it. Turns out she didn't actually say it. It's like paraphrased, but that's not relevant right now. But the quote goes like this. Do you want to change the world? Go home and love your family. And it's only when we can truly love and see the eyes of Christ in the people directly in front of us that we can then go out and see him in other people and like truly be on mission and truly like change the world. Which really like stuck with me because I mean, I don't know your guys' family members. I don't know their love languages or their annoying habits or the ways that they need to be ministered to right now, but you do, and you can find that out and you can be that for them. Yeah, you can choose to show grace and to be patient, and you can choose to love until it hurts. And so I guess like my prayer and my hope for all of us during this time is that we take advantage of it, and that we come out of quarantine closer to being saints and as better disciples than when we started. So that's my reflection. Thanks for listening.